let's go out in the shop and I'll show you the ins and outs of making a mini bowl water light. Let's go. Okay, I'm out in the other shop now, and this is where I keep all my supplies, which translates into lots of cans, boxes and boxes of cans. Now to make a water light, I'm going to need a good 20-ounce Pepsi bottle, like this right here. And here lies the problem. If you look down in here, you can see there's a lot of Pepsi bottles in here. That's because most of them I've taken and peeled the label off, and the label's only partially come off. So that means in order to get this label off, I got to pick and dig and use mineral spirits to get that off. It's going to take me a half an hour to get the label off that bottle. So every time I get when the label comes off like that, I just throw it in this box, and you can see I've been throwing here for quite a while. So first thing I'm going to do is hunt around and find one that the label does come off on easy, so it'll make my job a lot easier. But someday I'm going to have to take the label off of these. But as long as I can find fresh ones, I'm going to do those first. And here's my box of the other bottle I use, the Dove juice bottle. I'll give you a good picture of both of them when I get done. Okay, I just found a Coke bottle. It's got a pretty fresh date on it. This label will probably come off okay. So let's see what we can do with this. It came off all the way around. All I've got to remove is just this bunch of junk here, and that'll be fairly easy. Okay, besides this 20-ounce Coke bottle, just a standard 20-ounce Coke bottle, I'm also going to need, for the inside, this bottle right here. This is a Dole's fruit juice bottle, and it's a 15.2 fluid ounce, 15.2 ounce bottle. And that label will come right off on that one. So let's go back to the shop and take the residue off of these. Okay, I almost forgot. I'm also going to need one of these bottles like this. This is Hannaford's Kiwi Strawberry. Walmart sells a lot of drinks in this same bottle. It's a pretty classic bottle. I use that for the cover. You're going to need one of those. And I don't even take the label off this. I put it right on with the label on it. I've never bothered to take them off. So, and that is 20 fluid ounces. Okay, now let's go back to the shop and take the labels off these and clean. Okay, here we are back in the shop. And what I use to take the label glue off these is just paint thinner, mineral spirits. You can get it at any hardware store. And what I do is I just slop some onto a paper towel, take my bottle, start rubbing it, using my fingernail to disrupt it. Keep rubbing, and it's one of those deals. It's not as bad as it looks. It's a lot better if your fingers aren't cold. I just came out of the other shop and my fingers are about half frozen, so it's a little tougher. But you just keep working on it. Same way with the Pepsi bottle. You just stir a little bit, the label will come off. It's just a slow process. And just keep working at it, you'll get it. Now once I get all the label off of these, I'm going to take them in the house. I'm going to take some nice hot soapy water. I'm going to wash the outside to get all this solvent off, get all this mineral spirits off, and then I'm going to wash them on the inside, rinse them out 4 or 5 times, get them good and clean so they're good and clear and you can see right through them. So I'll go in the house and do that. I don't think we need to make a video of it. I think you've probably washed things before and can get the general idea. And then I'll come back out and show you what I've got to do next, which is cut the pieces. Okay, I've got my 3 bottles washed and pretty well dried on the outside. And now I'm ready to start making cuts. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Sharpie marker to mark things out before I start making any cuts. Now, you want to make sure all the water's off the outside of the bottle, because if this marker touches any water, it'll just quit marking immediately. So, And this is the most important cut, so I'm going to start with this one while your brain's still fresh, because this can be a bit mind-numbing. Now, this is a 20-ounce Coke bottle, and if you follow the side down, you'll see that it gets narrower as it goes down. And at about right here, it's at its narrowest point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down maybe another 3/8 of an inch beyond that point where it starts to bell back out again. And that's going to be my point where I'm going to draw my line. Okay. Now, I'm going to draw a line very carefully and slowly. Draw a line right there. You want this line to be as straight as possible. Be really great if both ends lined up. Okay. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm up on the side where it started to get bigger right there. Now, I'm going to take my handy-dandy cut myself utility knife. This one's a little dirty. I don't know, I cut plaster Paris so that lasts. There's a little bit of that still on the blade. Anyway, okay, and I'm going to not cut on the line. I'm going to set over here a bit and just trim this bottom right off, just to get it out of the way so I can do all the precise work with a pair of scissors. Okay, now, so you can see that. I'm going to go in here and very slowly trim off the excess right along this line with a pair of scissors. It's a little tricky, but if you take your time, pay attention, you can do it. You're kind of working with a compound curve there. Okay. Now you can see that it comes down and bells out, so I've got a little bit of a lip here. That's real important. Then I'm going to come up here on this end, and where all the fancy design stops, where it turns into smooth again, right where the label went, right there. I'm going to cut all the way around that. I can do that by just following this seam right here, where it's all fluted and everything to where it's smooth, and just stay right on that seam. But the first thing I'm going to do is get this junk out of the way. Is cut a little further out so that I can get my scissors in there. Okay, now I'm going to cut right along this line here. Got to really get it in the light just so to be able to see that seam, but it's not that big a deal. Doesn't have to be perfect. The better it is, the better your light will look, but you're going to have to make probably a few before you get one that's a showpiece you want to brag to your friends about. Okay. Okay, now that's my outer baffle that's going to hold the water. Now, I'm going to wipe that all out, make sure there's no glue on the outside. Look it all over, make sure there's no water on it, because that's my lens, and I want that to be very pristine and nice. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I only bang this out of the way. This is just the cup goes on the top. All I do with this is just take the utility knife and cut it off right here.